Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jessica, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you these really cute and simple Dollar Tree DIYs. These are perfect for Easter or just to have up for spring. But before we get started, if you are new here, I would love to have you join us by subscribing down below and make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. All right, let's get started. For this first DIY, I'm going to be using this wood bunny cutout that I found at the Dollar Tree. Now you could do so many things with this wood cutout, but I'm just going to be painting mine in one coat of this chiffon cream chalked spray paint from Rust-Oleum. You can definitely paint it by hand, but I figured this would be really simple and I love this color. So here it is after one coat of that spray paint and it is nice and dry. And now I'm going to be taking some blue painter's tape because I want to have some pink stripes. So you'll see here, I'm just going to take some strips of that tape and just try to evenly space it out. Now you could measure here, but I'm a big fan of just eyeballing it, so I tried to make them as even as I could, and once my bunny was all done, I decided to spray paint him again with some pink spray paint. So here it is, nice and spray painted with one or two coats, and here's the spray paint that I used. It is this really pretty gloss pink blush color from Krylon. It is very light, but it has a very pastel Easter feel to it, so I figured it would be perfect for this. And now for my favorite part, the reveal. I'm not sure how you guys feel about this, but I love seeing people take that tape off and just revealing those nice crisp lines. It's just so satisfying. So once he was all done and dry, I was able to remove that tape and move on to my next step. You'll notice here that there's a little hole at the top, and that's where the little string was from the Dollar Tree. So I just removed that, and I'm going to be covering it up with this beautiful burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. So I think that this ribbon is just so pretty. So I just cut a nice long piece here, and I'm just going to make a little bow, make sure it is nice and even, and then I will secure it right over that hole with some hot glue. I gave the hot glue a couple seconds to just dry and make sure it was really secure, and then I just trimmed my ribbon ends here just to make it look nice and neat. Next, you will just need some twine. So I always pick mine up at Dollar Tree, but any twine will work for this. And I'm just going to turn my bunny over, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right there, kind of in the middle of the body where the bunny's arms would be. And I'm just putting a small bead of it and just pressing very carefully my twine into that hot glue. And now I'm going to stretch that twine across the bunny's body, but I don't want to pull it too tight. I don't want it to be sloppy looking either, so I'm holding it taut, but making sure that it has a little bit of give in it because we are going to string some carrots and we want them to look like they're just kind of gracefully curving around the bunny. So here are my 3 carrots I'm going to be using, and you can find these at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 6, and I'm also going to be using these again later on. These are just so pretty. I stocked up on these this year. I got a couple packs because they're just so beautiful. And I just attached them to that string with some hot glue, and now I'm just trimming off a little bit of the green just to make it look a little bit more neat. And for the final step, I'm just going to be using some of these tumbling tower blocks. So you can find this little game at Dollar Tree in the toy section, and these little blocks are perfect for crafting, so I always have some of these on hand. And I'm going to be using 2 of them to act as supports for the bunny. So this step is completely optional, but I like when my wood decorations can kind of just stand up on their own and they don't need to be propped up against something. So this is a great trick for that. So all you have to do is just put some hot glue. I used 2 for this size bunny here. And you just want to make sure to put your bunny on a little bit of a diagonal when you're gluing them on, and your bunny will stand up perfectly all by itself. And here is the finished result, and this bunny, in my opinion, is just so sweet looking. I love those stripes and just the ribbon. I just think it's the most adorable little bunny ever. For this next DIY, I'm going to be starting off with this piece of scrap wood that I already had on hand. So this one measured about 16 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. And I'm going to be spray painting it with one of my absolute favorite spray paints, this beautiful satin Rust-Oleum in French lilac. It is just so beautiful, and if you guys are familiar with my DIYs, you will have seen the spray paint quite often this year. And while that is drying, I'm going to be starting on my eggs. So I picked up this pack of wood eggs from the Dollar Tree, and they come 8 to a pack, but I'm only going to need 5 today. And then I'm also going to be using some scrapbook paper. So I do not think Dollar Tree has scrapbook paper. I already had this on hand, but you can definitely pick some up at Walmart or any craft store. But if you do not want to use scrapbook paper for this, you can just pick up some really pretty colored tissue paper from the Dollar Tree and use it for this, and it would work beautifully as well. So I'm just tracing my eggs onto my scrapbook paper here, and then I'm just going to be carefully cutting them out. So since I had 5 eggs, I did 2 in this really pretty butterfly print, and then I also did 2 in the flower one, and then just 1 in my pink print here, and I made sure to position the egg over the word love. I thought that would be really cute. And now to attach the scrapbook paper to my wooden eggs, I'm just going to be using some glue. I'm just taking my time and making sure to get some glue on those edges because we do not want our paper edges to be peeling up on us, and it will make the next step a lot easier. So just take your time and make sure that those papers are nice and secure. After everything was glued, I just took some matte Mod Podge that I picked up at the Dollar Tree to seal everything in. So I just put a small dollop onto each egg and then brushed it with my paintbrush and made sure to get those edges. You just want to repeat this same process for all of your eggs and then give them a couple hours to fully dry. Here is my wood plank that I spray painted. I did not spray paint the bottom at all, and I didn't worry about the sides too much because I knew I'd be covering them up with some ribbon, but I did make sure to fully coat the top there. So this is that same burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be covering the 3 sides. I'm not going to worry about the back since no one's going to see it. And to secure it on, I'm just using some hot glue, but make sure you are super careful because this ribbon has those holes in it and you do not want to touch that hot glue. So I just very carefully tapped it into place until it was glued along those 3 sides. Now to secure our eggs, I'm going to be using more pieces from that tower block game. So I'm going to be needing 5 of them here. And once I had all 5, I'm going to start laying them out into place where I want them. So I had to decide how I wanted my pattern to be for my eggs. So I'm going to be basically putting 3 eggs towards the front, and then 2 are going to be staggered in the back. So it will definitely make more sense when you see it. So for my first block, I'm just placing it right in the middle of my plank and towards the front because that's where I want my 3 front eggs to be. So once I had it in place there, I just put a little bit of glue on the back of my egg and glued it to my block. And you could probably glue these eggs onto your wood plank without the blocks, but they give it a really nice sturdy base to hold on to, so I definitely recommend using them. And then once that one was nice and dry, I just placed my other 2 blocks in the same level as that one. So they're going to be towards the front as well. And then I just secured those 2 down, and then I put some more glue on my eggs to attach them. You could definitely paint the wood blocks the same color as your wood plank to camouflage them a lot better, but I figured you wouldn't really notice them in the end result, so I didn't worry about that. And now for my last 2 blocks, I'm going to be placing them in the back row. So you'll see here that they're right up against the back of the wood plank there, and I just put them in between. And now I'm just going to put a little bit more glue onto my eggs and secure those in place. So this will just give the eggs a really nice staggered appearance, and you can see all of them still really beautifully. And this is the end result, and I don't know about you guys, but I really like this one. I feel like it's different, and it definitely doesn't look like it came from the Dollar Tree, and I just love the pastel bright eggs. I just think that they're so cute. For our last DIY, I'm going to be starting off with this small wreath that I picked up in the floral section of the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using this pack of 6 faux eggs. So I'm just going to be gluing them around my wreath. So you'll see here that I leave a small area up top because that is where the ribbon is going to be for our wreath. So I kind of just put 3 on either side. This is Dollar Tree's smaller wreath, and I did find that 6 eggs worked pretty well for this. but they do have a larger one. So if you want to go ahead and make that, you might want to double up on your egg size. And next I'm going to be adding some raffia. So you can find raffia at the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 3 bundles. So you just want to undo the bundles and pull the raffia nice and straight to make it as long as possible. And now I'm just holding it in place and wrapping it around to cover up that wreath. And you can just take your time, and when you run out of raffia, just grab some more and kind of tuck it underneath the egg and you will be fine. Once I was done wrapping my entire wreath, I just took some scissors and trimmed up some of those stray pieces to make it look a little bit more put together. Next, I'm going to be adding these carrots that I found at Dollar Tree. So they come in a pack of 6. And I'm going to be placing a carrot in between each of the eggs. And I made sure to kind of stagger them. So I had 1 carrot facing out and then 1 carrot facing in. And then I just went ahead until I got back to the other side and filled in each one of those holes in between the eggs. Next, I'll be using some ribbon. So I got this one from Dollar Tree a while ago, but you can use any of their ribbons. They have a very large selection. And I'm just going to be cutting it kind of long at the top and then putting a knot into it. And then you'll see I'm just trimming it, and then I'm going to secure that knot in the back of the wreath. That way it does not come peeking out. So once I had the proper length, I just put a little bit of hot glue in the back and secured it there. Now I'm going to be making a decorative bow for the front of my wreath, and I'm going to show you a super simple method to a really beautiful bow. So I'm going to be cutting a small piece and then a piece that is a little bit larger than that one. And we want to make a circle with it. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue and then just form a circle just like this. And then I'm going to do that same process to my other smaller piece of ribbon. And then we're going to layer them on top of each other, and it's going to look really pretty. So now you can just glue that smaller circle ribbon on top of the larger one. And I just put a little bit of hot glue in between there to attach them to each other. And now to keep that circle from popping open, I just put a little bit of hot glue in the middle of it, and that was it. And now for the tails of the ribbon, you just want to cut a nice long piece here, and then I folded it in half, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back of the ribbon. This is a really simple way to hack a beautiful bow very quickly and very easily with no fuss at all. Now you can just hot glue that bow to the top of your wreath and you are almost done. We just have to add one more finishing touch. So I had that extra carrot left over, so I thought it would look really cute right in the middle of my bow here. So I just secured that into place with a little bit more hot glue. And that is it, you are done. But I did want to show you one little quick trick for hanging your wreath. If you want it to hang properly, like in the right direction without twisting at all, this is something I like to do. So I just took a small piece of ribbon and I just wrapped it around itself and put a little bit of hot glue, and then I just trimmed those edges. And I'm going to hot glue this to the back of my decorative ribbon, and this will just ensure that when I hang it on a hook or on a door, it will just hang properly. It will not be twisting in a crazy direction or anything. It will just lay perfectly with no fuss. You can see here, I just hung mine up with a command hook from that little hidden loop in the back, and I had no problems at all, and it hung perfectly straight. I really hope that you guys like this super easy and adorable Easter wreath. I just think it's so precious. And those are all the DIYs that I have for you guys today, but I did just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched and subscribed. It truly means the world to me. And if you guys know anyone who would enjoy a really fun DIY, don't forget to send them this video and give it a big thumbs up. Thank you again for watching.